16-year-old Kari Nixon lived in the family-friendly community of Osable Forks in New York with her siblings and parents Kathy and Gary. She was an above-average student and a picture of her high school softball team. She was close to her family, and they often spent a lot of time together. At approximately 9:30 p.m. on the night of the 22nd of June, 1987, she left her home to run an errand for her dad. She bought some groceries at a store just a few blocks away. She left there around 9:55 p.m. and headed back home. She exchanged greetings with a neighbour at around 10:05 p.m. At 10:10 p.m, a group of teenagers walked down the street, but she was not there. Somehow, she disappeared within 5 minutes and just 700 feet from her home. The next morning, Kathy discovered that Kari was not in her bed. The Nixons contacted the police and a massive search began for her. However, no trace of her was found. Authorities, her family and friends were torn on what they believed happened to her. Some believed that she was abducted by a stranger, while others believed that she ran away. Because she was so close to her family, she didn't have any problems with her home life, and she didn't take any extra money or belongings with her, suggesting that she was abducted. However, she also made some interesting comments to a friend, claiming that when she turned 18, she wanted to leave the area and go to either Hawaii, California, or Florida. As the months passed, the investigation grew to a standstill. No one could ever be sure if Kari had run away or met with foul play. Then, in November 1987, the New York State Police received an anonymous letter from Flint, Michigan, claiming that she was in Utahville, South Carolina area. Her family went to the area and put up several missing person posters. Police and the family were shocked when a local resident came forward, claiming that she had spoken to a shy girl who called herself Kari Nixon. Utahville resident Shirley Capinell contacted the police after she saw Kari's missing poster at the store. She claimed that she encountered Kari during the summer of 1987. She was certain that the girl was her because of her hair, her earrings, and of course her name. Other witnesses in the area also reported seeing a girl that they believed was Kari. Shirley was unable to recall many of the details from her encounter with the girl. At the request of the New York State Police, she underwent hypnosis. During the session, she remembered a red-haired girl introducing her to a girl who had called herself Kari Nixon. Kari claimed that she was from New York and was staying in the area. Shirley said that Kari had 2 earrings and long brown hair. Kari apparently seemed shy and unwilling to talk to her. Shirley had previously worked in a group that dealt with runaways, and she was certain that the girl she had met was a runaway. Authorities located the girl that Shirley claims was with Kari the day she met her. However, she reportedly had a memory lapse and was unable to recall the events. After failing to find any other confirmed sightings of Kari, the investigation again reached a dead end. Investigators looked into over 70 sightings of Kari, but were uncertain if she was still alive. Her family just wanted to find her and make sure she was okay. On the 5th of June, 1989, the New Kids on the Block filmed a music video at one of their concerts in Los Angeles, California. In March 1991, Kari's parents viewed it and noticed a girl in the audience that looked just like her. Investigators also believed that the audience member was Kari. A detailed analysis of the video showed that the girl had almost identical hair length, hair colour, face shape, and a number of earrings in her right ear as Kari did before she vanished. New Kids on the Block members Jordan and Jonathan Knight were interviewed on unsolved mysteries and made personal appeals for Kari to come forward. While the girl in the video shared a striking resemblance to Nixon, sadly, after coming forward and identifying herself, she wasn't the girl in the music video. She was a teenager from Washington, D.C. The case was solved on the 28th of January 1994, almost 7 years after Kari vanished. Her body was unearthed in a shallow grave, only miles from her home, after Robert Anthony Jones made a stunning confession to her kidnapping rape, and murder. He had been arrested for 4 bank robberies, which were committed in New York and Maine between 1987 and 1993. His wife Teresa told police that he had confessed to her that he had killed Kari. He then confessed to police in an effort to get Teresa a lighter sentence for driving the getaway car from a local bank heist with their 2 children inside. At the time of Kari's disappearance, Robert was 23 years old and living in Bar Harbor, Maine, with his family. On the week that she vanished, he returned to his hometown for a week-long visit. On the night of the 22nd of June, he spotted her while he was buying beer and some pretzels at the local store. He followed her and forced her into his car at gunpoint. He then drove her to his parents' cabin, where he raped and strangled her, and when strangling did not kill her, he shot her in the chest. He buried her on their remote property, located in Jay, the following morning. He later returned to Osable Forks area, where he settled with his family, only 200 meters from where he had buried her. Under the negotiated plea, he secured a sentence of 18 years to life imprisonment for the robberies and her murder. Robert stated that he abducted the victim because of marital difficulties, claiming Teresa had cheated on him, as well as claiming that he had committed robbery in order to intentionally get caught. April Gregory was a hard-working 18-year-old psychology student who took her studies very seriously. After completing her freshman year, she enrolled in several summer classes. At 11:45 p.m. on the 24th of May 1996, her brother Lamar dropped her off and helped put her bags at the front of Sadler Hall at Syracuse University, where her dorm room was. As he left, he saw her enter the building. She then went to her 7th floor dorm room and vanished without a trace. Authorities believed that something happened to her between 12 a.m. and 5 a.m, but they had very few clues. They noticed that her suitcase was not completely unpacked, suggesting that she was interrupted. Also, her work uniform was missing. Investigators looked into the possibility that she was abducted while she walked to work. However, they couldn't find any evidence to support this theory. The case was solved shortly after April's disappearance. Investigators discovered that she'd been dating a 30-year-old neighbour named Terrence Evans. They became suspicious of him after finding inconsistencies in his statements. They also discovered that he missed work on the day she vanished. In November of 1997, after several interviews, Evans confessed to her murder and led police to her remains. Evans told investigators that during an argument, he hit her, and she in turn hit her head into a speaker. She lay there bleeding and unconscious, but he didn't do anything about it. Instead of calling for help or getting treatment, he went to the local store and purchased a couple of beers. When he woke up the next morning, she was dead. His parents came home, so he placed her in his bed and wound up staying with her for 4 nights because her parents never left. When questioned by investigators, he told them that he originally buried her in the backyard, but later dug her up after getting nervous after being questioned about her disappearance. He then dismembered her body and placed the remains in several hiding places in his home. He even went to lengths of pulling out all of her teeth because he knew forensically they could do dental records. Parts of her body were stored in his family's attic and under the basement floor. In his confession, Evans described separating April Gregory's head from her body. He put it in a plastic bag, and the investigator asked, "What did you do with it?" He said, "I put it in my room, my closet." He then asked, "Why did you do that?" He said, "I needed something of hers to be close to me." Investigators believe that he intended to kill April, so Evans was arrested and charged with second-degree murder. He was later convicted and sentenced to 25 years to life in prison. He'll be eligible for parole in 2022.